Hello YouTubers, welcome back to Social Media. I am Mark, your host, your presenter, whatever you want me to be. I say I'm cheaper and better than the BBC. You get me for free. Can't get any better than that, can you? Right, so what are we talking about today? Well, did you watch the King's coronation? Did you watch the coronation? Well, I did, so you didn't have to, basically. Yeah, I watched the King's coronation. I said I might, and I did. I ended up watching it. It's basically history. What might or might not be done again in my lifetime. So it's historic, basically, and that's why I watched it. I started watching it about 6 o'clock. We're going round the mile, you know, BBC cameras and that. We're going round the mile. Interviewing people, people who were fans of all of this and that, you know what I mean? And people like the royal family, basically. So yeah, I found it interesting and that. And 7 o'clock, so it started at 6. 7 o'clock come, and they were doing more talks with celebrities and things like that. And then, obviously, at 8 o'clock I went shopping. I went out shopping, I went down to Tesco's to get some food, and I come back and I started watching it again, where you saw the Westminster Abbey was open, you saw the VIPs coming in and things like that. I saw King Charles and Queen Camilla come down the mall towards Westminster Abbey. I thought that was quite interesting, because he used these Mother's Platinum Jubilee coach for that, which is more comfortable. Then we saw him, King Charles III and Queen Camilla, come into the Westminster Abbey and that. And then we saw the ceremony, which took quite a bit, actually, quite a long time. It was an interesting ceremony, and it really was an interesting ceremony, with lots of music as well, So, coronation music and that music from past as well. They were explaining certain things, what century certain things were done and why they were done and things like that. But all in all, it wasn't too bad, actually. And then he was crowned round about 12 o'clock. The crown was placed on his head and things like that. So that was an interesting thing in my mind. It took a little while because he had to swear on certain things. He had to sign a book. He had to, he were welcomed by a 14-year-old boy. We welcome you in the name of King of Kings and things like that. Why are you here? And King Charles said, I'm here to serve, not to be served, and things like that. Yeah, I mean, and it went on and on from there. Quite a bit of pageantry going on and things like that. Then he got anointed. And then, like I say, he got the crown placed on his head and that. And you thought that was it. No. There's a hell of a lot more to it. It went on for quite a while. He didn't come out of there and got back into his coach until about 1 o'clock, something like that. So while that ceremony was going on, they were getting ready outside. They had the gold stagecoach waiting for him, which has no suspension, but they had the gold stagecoach waiting for him and things like that. And for Queen Camilla, because she got crowned as well. You saw the crown placed on her head as well, which was an interesting one. And that's King and Queen crown and things like that. Really interesting. It really was. And yeah, quite done tastefully as well. I mean, they could have put a lot more into that abbey. They could have put 8,000 seats, but there were only 2,000 people in there. So it was done tastefully, and it were paid down to what it should be. But the interesting fact, what I liked about it, and this is an interesting fact, and this is a fact as well, as Prince Charles was coming down past the cenotaph. If you don't know what cenotaph means, that's a Greek word meaning an empty tomb. Coming past down there, they're on about in 1953, 70 years on, that it rained on Queen Elizabeth's coronation. So that, so 70 years before, it rained on her coronation, and it's raining on King Charles's coronation. And things like that. So yeah, it were really interesting, and also they had the same arguments in 1953 as well. Should we do the coronation for the Queen because of people being on food stamps and the cost of living basically. People were still on ration books and things like that in 1953, and they decided to do it because it may give the people something to look forward to and things like that. To bring people together, which it did. It went off great, didn't it, in 1953. Well, we've got the same problem here with the cost of living. Okay, no one's on ration books at this moment in time, but we have got a cost of living crisis, and so they approached it the same way as Queen Elizabeth's coronation was approached. Do we need to do this? And they said, yes, we do. We do need to do it, but we'll pare it down. We won't have it, there could have been more. They could have had it more Gregorian things, but they didn't. They pared it down. And they went on and did it. And that. So your taxpayers' money has gone on to this, but it was done tastefully. It wasn't done wrongly. It was done tastefully. I'm glad it was done, actually, because people will say, well, King Charles is not popular. Well, I beg to differ with that, and I will call anyone a liar on that. He is popular. It might not be as popular as the old Queen who died, but he is popular. People did come to see him, and he brought the people together. People on that mall, there were a lot, the mall were full. So to say that he's not a popular king is wrong to say. He is popular, but he's not as popular as his mother. But we're going through, when I were watching it and before he were crowned, they were going through his achievements, and he has achieved a lot. He's always been activist. He's always mentioned fumes in cities since he was a young man in 1970. So, him and the climate are not new. He's always had this for climate. He cares about nature and things like that. And his achievements with the Princess of Wales Trust as well, and he's done it. While he had it, it's done really well. So his achievements are really well, and they're hoping that he's going to go on to be a great king. He may or may not be. We don't know. Time will tell. And in that, you know what I mean. But I am no fan of the royals at all. You know what I mean? Because my mum said because I remember my mum telling me back in the 90s before she died, when the old Queen dies, as far as she's concerned, royal family will be finished. You know what I mean? So yeah, I did watch the King's coronation. I said I may or may not, but I did. I ended up doing it. That's why I'm doing this video. So I ended up watching it on TV and things like that, and I rather enjoyed it. I really did. Fascinating facts on history, on where it all started and things like that. Yeah, it was quite interesting. It really was. But it's the 21st century, and that is the place for stuff like that. Well, in their mind, yes, and in mind of the fans of the royals, yes, there is. So they was quite happy to see it, and people did flock to see it in London. It was jam-packed. So to say that King Charles is not popular is wrong to say, because he is a popular king. He is a popular king, and so is Camilla. She's a popular queen as well. And let's go as far as William and Kate. They will be popular. He's going to be popular because he's Prince of Wales now, and things like that. And she's Princess of Wales. But yeah, they are going to be popular. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that's it. That's the coronation in a nutshell. It finished with a fly past where the Queen came out and waved to the crowd and like they do on the balcony and things, and then the fly past started. They had the helicopter fly past, they had the red arrows fly past, and it was quite interesting. He came out onto the balcony twice. He went in and come back out twice, so that was good of him and things like that. But before that balcony, they had all troops marched on lawn, and they're giving me a parade. They salute, the armed forces saluted him in the Buckingham Palace's garden. So that was quite interesting. That was quite nice and novel. And then he did the balcony a bit. Like I said, the red arrows and the helicopters came past. it was quite interesting. It really was. Yeah, you know, it's turned the page, hasn't it? In the royal family, it's turned over a new leaf, and a, a new royal king has been crowned. So a new, it's a new generation now. So that's it. That's the end of Queen Elizabeth's reign, and it's reign of King Charles III. Let's hope he does a good job. Well, I hope he does. I really do. But like I say, I'm not going to sit here slacking off. Cause I did quite enjoy watching that coronation, and I quite enjoyed it as well. I just thought, yeah, yeah, yeah. In the beginning, I was thinking, why are they doing this? And I can see why they did it, because they wanted to bring people together, and they've done that now. So that's been done, and people will talk about this for years to come, and things like that. So if you've liked this video, please give me a like. Please subscribe if you know it, the bell icon, it all that will let you know when I'm uploading another video. Come back from time to time to make sure that you're still subscribed to me, because YouTube algorithm might think you're a robot and might unsubscribe you. So come back to make sure you're still subscribed to me. Please share the video to your friends and your family, and to other social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch and Bing. Also use the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now. Catch you all later. Enjoy your Sunday dinner.